Alright guys, TacticalRab here, and today I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Modern Warfare 2 is officially here and the early reviews are in. Shotzzy is maybe surprisingly optimistic about the movement mechanics, at least so far in the game, but Dashy has not shied away from giving his perspective on some of the key flaws in the design decision making. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Firstly, this from Crone. Now, in fairness, the trophy system has been very OP for a long time. I remember in Black Ops 2, if you called in a Hellstorm missile and you didn't kind of spread it into the additional rockets, it would still get destroyed by the trophy system. So yes, it's still a thing. A trophy can counter a cruise missile, but yeah, still kind of a mind-blowing feat of nature, no doubt. Now, finally, the confirmation from the London Royal Ravens yesterday, confirming their roster. They actually say here, Europe's last type. Interesting, I suppose, just because Paris have now gone and they're over in Vegas, but at the same time, Minnesota is a 3 out of 4 European roster anyway, so it's an interesting one. Nasty, Zero, Porlex and Asim. It certainly is a roster in Call of Duty history. I do feel like, you know, Scraps at some points might find himself in this team. There is the question out there is, okay, Scraps, should he really have deserved this substitute spot because didn't even play challenges last year, but still gets in ahead of some other guys that did grind through it. To me, there's two key weaknesses here, which is, well, you're lacking Wardy and you're lacking Beans, right, which were the two guys that they could have tried to bring into this roster. Apparently they did try on those players, but Wardy rejected them to go to the bench of New York, and Beans might have done the same thing for Boston. So it goes to show what those players might think about the London franchise and the potential of it, especially comparing, you know, Paris Legion the last several years. None of their players have really seen that much success at all. A lot of them forced into retirement, the curse of the Paris Legion, and London haven't exactly gone that way, but yeah, I don't really see, I mean, look, this team always has potential. Any team in the CDL has some potential, but I'm not really a big fan of it, to be perfectly honest. I think they've taken a step back from last year, losing Afro, and they haven't replaced him by any sort of great talent. But I'm happy that Asim is getting a spot here back in the league. I think this team really needs Nasty to be an absolute force of nature on the SMG, and if he can be like a real kind of slay-heavy SMG, which I think is possible, and he did it in challenges before, and wasn't really in that role for London in his first season, then this team is in a good position. But they need Nasty and Asim to be a great SMG duo here if they want to succeed in anything. But Scraps does have the bench spot, and he might get a spot back in the starting team at some point. So pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, that's what's going on with the final roster confirmation going into the new season. Let's talk Modern Warfare 2. One of the big complaints so far immediately was the UI. I was surprised because I saw the beta UI and I was like, okay, this is terrible. Surely they're going to fix it for the real game. I don't know why they have to reinvent the wheel on stuff like this. Even this in Modern Warfare 3. Simple, effective. I mean, Black Ops 3's was pretty simple as well, but got the job done. Black Ops 2 as well was kind of the classic from my perspective. But yeah, for some reason they just put all these development resources into chasing something that effectively just makes the experience worse. So congratulations to Infinity Ward. This was another key complaint, was about the scan and repair. This has been affecting everyone, and just in general, I don't know how bad this launch of the game is compared to other games. I think every year people always say, yeah, this is the worst launch of a game of all time, but yeah, a lot of scan and repair, a lot of game crashes, a lot of glitches. You try and bring up your start menu or back out and it won't let you do it. You can only change your classes. Maybe sometimes you can't even do that. If you're trying to play with a team and with a group of people, the game will just crash. Like, it's an absolute disaster. But at least they put a lot of time into making the good UI, right? Yeah, nice one. So, yeah, Morks, 5 scan and repairs in a row. Even Envoy was talking about this, as was Octane. The scan and repair is back in business, baby. Now, I think that maybe it was Clayster who came up with some ideas how to get rid of this or how to reduce the, like, the implications of it. You mentioned some sort of parallax thing. I don't know. Maybe it's in the settings somewhere that if you turn that off, it makes scan and repair less likely. So, yeah, the pros are going to have to figure it out, but once again, it's a problem. And Daniel Sai mentioned recently the game restore tool, and with scanner repair as well kind of predictable and as consistent as it is, we might need a fair bit of that this season going, especially in the online qualifiers. Let's talk the maps then. So remarkable in a way that the museum map, which, look, let's be honest, the museum map wasn't great. It was absolutely massive, I think, but it was potentially still viable for search and destroy, or maybe there was a world in which, especially with, let's say, the map editor, which probably isn't coming anytime soon, but might arrive at some point, they could, you know, you could trim off parts of that map to make it a bit smaller or more viable or whatever, but that map is now gone. So what's going on? There was meant to be 11 maps in the game, and at launch there's only 10 6v6 maps, and of course a few of these we saw in the beta. There are a couple of other ones that I think are actually alright. I mean, honestly, looking at the maps, like watching a little bit of gameplay, it's not an absolute disaster, but some of the maps, like, what is this, by the way? I just wanted to mention this for you guys, because I cannot believe my eyes when I'm looking at it. So we talked the other day, the ground war maps that were becoming 6v6 maps, were they designed as multiplayer maps and then converted into a bigger ground war map, or would it be the other way around? I think we've got our answer here. This is the kind of border crossing map where I actually can't, like, I saw a screenshot of this the other day, right? I think I showed you guys this screenshot, and I was like, oh, well, a screenshot of basically this, and I was like, surely this isn't a map, right? They must be trolling us, or this is just obviously something else is going on here. But no, this is actually a real map where it's just cars on a motorway. The obvious joke here is about the fact that, you know, we asked for 3-lane maps and they gave us a bloody 3-lane highway, but it's all gridlocked up. I mean, look, Gridlock was a great map back in Black Ops 4, but we didn't ask for this, right? So yeah, this is the map. I mean, there's 2 like Overwatch buildings over the center. There's no way around. You just have to go through here. These are, I guess, the bomb site locations. And if you want to play search on this, I mean, I can't imagine a more painful map to play than this one. And you know, it's not just the dev that decided this is a good idea. It's the fact this got through the processes. It was like, yep, sound, give it a go, thumbs up, lads. It's like, okay, fine. If this wants to be your 17th map in the game for 6v6 and it's a little bit wacky, whatever, give it a go. It's obviously going to play terrible, but I don't really care at that point. If it's 1 of 10, I'm like, well, lads, we are going to struggle a little bit this year. And even as Temp says, Left 4 Dead 2, the parish finale, people were also talking about Sicario, and kind of, well, they just copied and pasted some certain situations from previous iterations in media in general, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work as a Call of Duty map, right? So yeah, I've no idea who thought that was going to play well, but as Crone said, thought it was pretty funny. You know, he's one shot at the blue 1997 Chevy, pick up reg number, you know, NSG 585 with 15% tints and a missing left wing mirror because, you know, one-shot car is not going to get you very far on this particular map. So remarkable stuff. Now, this is the other thing to mention, that even the maps that are good, the bomb site locations are definitely suboptimal. This is the Grand Prix map, for example, here, or as it's now known as the Crown Raceway, and this is the defensive spawn, and the A bomb site is right next to defensive spawn, so there's no way you're getting to there. It's going to be a 1 bomb site map over towards B, you would think here. So yeah, they definitely need to think about these bomb site locations. This is one example of a map that could play well for search, but if the bomb sites are moved, then it could be okay. Will they be able to do that? And this is the concern. Look, it's good the CDL is starting early, but the fact that it is means there's, you know, some issues like this where the map might not be particularly playable for search is not going to necessarily be fixed so quickly, right, compared to when the launch of the CDL is going to happen in, well, it started December, 4 weeks time, and this stuff probably has to be changed. But yeah, this is a consistent trend as well across the other maps. Just wanted to share for you guys then hardpoint map breakdowns. Some of these maps actually have 5 hardpoints. Can you believe it? So yes, there's 5 on Al-Bagra Fortress. This is the hotel map with 6 we saw in the beta. This is the Crown Raceway only with 5, so hopefully that's viable. We're going to have to play something, right, and Crown Raceway might be one of the better maps. At least it's one of the best to look at in my opinion. This map, I like, is this a 6v6 map? I don't even know. I haven't played the game. I haven't bought the game. But this has 10 hardpoints, so yeah, fantastic stuff. This is MW2, and I saw some gameplay actually on this map. This has only got 5. So I don't know. I feel like the maps, honestly, comparing to Modern Warfare 2019, might be a marginal improvement. There just isn't that many, but I just think like when they must have so many maps ready to go behind the scenes that effectively are just remastered maps for Modern Warfare 2 or whatever that they can bring in when they want to. They just haven't done so yet. So anyway, this is Farm 18. It's still got 8 hardpoints. That needs to be fixed because it could be viable. Mikado, that's got 7. I mean, okay, Border Crossing, if you're going to look at it, has got 6. Tarak, which I don't think plays particularly well, has got 5. And then there's a hydroelectric map. So yeah, definitely intrigued to your thoughts. Like, what's going on here? Is it an absolute disaster or is this salvageable? I think, again, it's going to be salvageable, but it's not an ideal start, especially with how close the CDL starts to now, with the amount of content we have at launch here, and also some of the issues with some of these maps. These are the search and destroy bomb locations as well. I'll just scroll through them quickly if you guys want to pause at any point to get your idea of what might be the case for some of these maps. And yeah, MW2, I was watching a bit of a Paris versus FaZe challenge on this one that I'll share for you guys briefly later on today. Just want to scroll through at this point because I think you get the picture. But yeah, shout out to easyMack and all the boys, Omar and co, that put all this type of stuff together. So that's the maps as it stands for now. The other question is about the movement, right? So apparently there's a way to kind of reset your slide cancel or reset your tack sprint without slide cancelling. So you just can tack sprint forever. That might be fixed, might not be fixed. But there really is no movement in the game per se. They removed, it seems, kind of the bunny hopping and things like that were considered advanced to any degree. They've just decided to get rid of. So slide cancelling is not going to be here. Even the bunny hop mechanics are not going to be here. So you can't really do anything in the game. You just run around and pre-aim basically, and the ARs are going to have a great time. Now, Dashy and kind of Shotzzy were giving their thoughts on this. I'll share a couple of thoughts here from Dashy actually, because, well, he talks about the UI first of all, being like, okay, who actually asked for this? Where were the complaints and why did it need to become like this? And the other thing he talks talks about is the perk system, which is just way too complicated for no reason. And he's like, well, if I as a pro player can't figure it out, what about the boys that, are meant to play this game from a casual perspective?
I'm rocking some
Who the f made this perk system, by the way? Who the f did this? Like,
I don't know.
Like, we're pros. We don't even know what we're doing. Like, you think the average, you think the guy that's hammered at his crib knows what he's doing? Like, oh, I'm mind blown right now at all the.
Where are we supposed to go to?
I'll be able to say this is a L. This is an L. This perk system. I'll be able to say it.
Okay, go to...
I'm just not using a worse than Halo right now.
I don't know how this is getting more complicated every year. I don't like. I don't know. Did anybody bitch about the main menu or the friend list? I don't swear to God. I swear to God, I didn't see a single tweet. I swear to God, I haven't. Yeah. It's like they make it more. It's like they just try to check, bro. I think they're actually, you know what? They're doing a good job by me bitching because like they want me to just be checked. They don't give a.
This is just one example here, right? As Crone says, there's 29 underbarrels and 18 muzzles on some of these weapons. Good luck finding the meta quickly. And the thing is, it's not just about equipping the correct underbarrel grip, but it's then about tuning that grip with the percentages to try and make it as good as it can be. I mean, honestly, unbelievable the type of stuff they come up with here. But yeah, this doesn't seem particularly casual friendly. That's just my opinion, but I've said that for quite some time. The other story here is on Shotzzy, because going into this season, there is some serious questions. What's going to happen from an SMG perspective? Like Shotzzy, obviously he thrives on the movement, so you would think in a game with no slide cancel, right, and no kind of extensive movement mechanics, how good is Shotzzy going to be? Maybe he's going to be worse than he was in the previous couple of games. That is certainly an arguable thing. Now Shotzzy seems to enjoy the movement. Now he tweeted this out, W movement. Now I think some people thought this was sarcastic, and it may be sarcastic, but then people said that I haven't really seen what he said about this on stream or in a clip or anything, but I think he said that he doesn't mind it, or at least he's relatively positive about it. So I think Shotzzy actually feels that the movement is okay. Maybe that opinion could change over time, because as I say, Shotzzy is generally going to like the more advanced movement stuff. Yes, this is a change of pace in Modern Warfare 2, but I think from what I've seen so far, it certainly is going to favour some players over others. The ADS time is incredibly slow still. It depends what attachments you put on though, because the more attachments you put on, the slower your ADS speed seems to be, because you want to run less attachments to have less weight on your weapon so it reacts quicker. I guess realism, baby. But yeah, so this is the thing. Shotzzy movement, what do you guys think about it? Is it going to hurt certain players like Shotzzy? But so far he seems to be relatively optimistic about that possibility. This was also pretty funny here. He put on like a 9mm attachment, and for some reason he thought it only meant it got 9 bullets in the weapon. He was like, okay, take that off. There's no way that's going to be viable. But yeah, definitely intrigued your thoughts on this. There was also some talk about the MP7, which is one of, I guess, the SMGs that's back in this game. Kenny was talking about this as well, saying that it feels good, and he's looking forward to it. Actually, Nature even says, watch Shotzzy run around for a few minutes with an MP7, and he's pretty excited about the game. So there's some differing opinions, of course, as is usual, that there's some people who still say the game has some positive attributes, some, of course, pointing out the fact that there are still plenty of issues here, and the reality is that many of the issues they had from the beta haven't necessarily been changed or fixed for the real thing. That's not exactly a surprise. Like, how often is the beta a beta? It's more often a demo of the real game, but obviously we've learned enough over COD history to know that that's going to be the case at this point. So intrigued your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your initial impressions? To me, the key points are the movement is one of the key points, but also the maps, right? And the maps, I think in general, I've just seen a little bit more positivity in the way the maps have been designed than the previous iterations, well, the previous few Call of Duties, to be honest. Like, the good maps are actually all right, which is, it shouldn't really be a positive, but I do think that over time we can get into a position of having a decent map set, but there are still some maps that you're like, what were they thinking here? But yeah, it's Infinity Ward for you, I suppose. And even this I thought was kind of cool. Formal was hopping on for the kickoffs last night as well. I hope he can actually even get to play a game, because clearly the game is rather broken as it stands. But very much into your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.